Hello and welcome to Guild Wars Players News, the podcast where we take a look at Guild Wars Games series news and talk about the content on our site, Guild Wars Players. I am Sithrith, and today we have Draculetta.
Hey everybody, and I can assure you I am recording this twice this time.
Nice. And Thalros.
Hello. Again.
So, to explain that, if you weren't in our live chat, I just want to apologize for the lateness of this episode because we did the whole show like we normally do at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, and it was live, and there were people talking to us. Like, they know we did it. There's proof. However, it was only after we finished the whole show, and we're congratulating ourselves on how good of a show we did, that we realized that our recording software was not working, and the whole thing did not get recorded. None of it got recorded. Yeah, congratulations to the people who were in the chat on Mixlr and at least got to hear the original version of the podcast. This one is slightly abridged because it's hard to capture the same energy twice, 2 days in a row. However, hopefully you all still enjoy the show, and be assured we are taking steps to make sure that that doesn't happen again. We have 3 recordings going on right now to make sure that this is not recorded. So with that all out of the way, we do have a big update to talk about. This past week on December 16th, there was a big update, including the change to the daily achievement system, an introduction of login rewards, the introduction of Winter's Day. Oh, I guess not introduction, but reintroduction of Winter's Day because it's that time of year, as well as the introduction of a whole bunch of PvP and World v. World updates. None of us really World v. World or PvP, so unfortunately we won't really talk about that because we don't really have a whole lot of experience with it. However, I do know we all have some feelings about the daily achievement system. Athalros, how do you feel about the changes to this?
Well, on the plus side, I am happy that they've kind of split the daily achievements into the 3 categories that he mentioned, PvE, PvP, and World v. World. That's good, I think, for getting people to do the kind of content that they want, for the most part. But I think it's really let down by how sort of simplistic and limited it is now. And by that I mean, firstly, the actual objectives they have you do. So far, that I have been asked to do, it's vistas, events, gathering resources, and that's pretty much it. I have not experienced much of anything else, and that seems really limited to me as someone who mainly just PvEs. The other issue I'm finding is that compared to before, and I think you'll be able to clarify this as well, is that compared to before where you could kind of do dailies and level and complete a zone at the same time, now you kind of have to choose which one. Because they have you go over all the different areas instead of all being in one that you can do.
Yeah, I know you were saying, I was talking to someone on Twitter, Nathrian, and they were saying the same thing that you're kind of saying, where basically they have a very linear kind of leveling pattern that they do, where they go through the first zone, and then the next zone, and the next zone, and they 100% each zone for map completion, and then they move on. They don't do a whole lot of random jumping around zones kind of thing, which is what this new daily achievement system kind of promotes and encourages. So for people with that other play style, it's really not great because, these are all either you gather some kind of resource in a certain set of zones, or you go and you look at vistas in a certain zone, or you complete events in a certain zone, or you go and you complete a certain mega boss event in a certain zone in a certain place, which also kind of sucks because those only show up every couple of hours. Like the other day was a achievement for doing the Frozen Maw in the Wayfarer Foothills, and I always seem to, that's on a 2-hour timer, and I always seem to log in just 5 minutes or so after they killed it. So it took me nearly till the end of the day to finish it, so that kind of sucked. Yeah.
I will give them credit in that this kind of thing does encourage people who may not have much of a reason to go back to other zones, like say high-level people, and that's good. It's just, for my particular playstyle, like other people that you mentioned, it's kind of a downgrade.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. It definitely it caters to a specific play style, I think, and a specific set of players. If you're a new player, or yeah, if you have mostly low level characters, this daily achievement system isn't great. Like, I think when it first turned on and everything, I have a level 80 character, so I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. I get to go to all these zones, cool. But then, like talking to you and talking to other people, I was like, oh wait, yeah, for people with only low level characters, this is really not great. Because like I know one of the achievements was like go do events in the Silver Wastes. And it's like if you don't have a level 80 character, if you haven't caught up to the living world, you just can't do that achievement. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That and the kind of how limited the actual goals are is just a straight up downgrade from what they had before, where you could do so many of the other things like dodging attacks or applying conditions, removing conditions, killing any X amount of enemies, stuff like that. It just seems to be completely absent. And I don't know why they would take those out.
Yeah. Drek, what have your experience has been with the daily changes?
Pretty much the same as both of you. It had so much potential, but it just was. I hate to say fail because it's really not a fail, but they really need to look at it and tweak it. Like today, I was on my Necro doing some leveling, and a couple of my daily achievements were like level 80 stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, there's 2 daily achievements I'm not going to get done because how am I going to do level 80 content?
Right. So that kind of, the level 80 stuff and the jumping around, like having everything be in very specific zones is definitely a problem.
Right, but I do kind of like the whole zone thing because it's been forever since I did any of those champions.
Oh, okay.
And so that kind of got me to start maybe checking timers to see if they're up, and if they were up and do them again. So I kind of like that part. I can kind of see why some people wouldn't like that.
Right.
And I kind of echo, Etherosa did kind of annoy me that a couple of my gathering ones, I had to go like 2 zones over from where I was.
Right.
So that, I didn't really like that too much. But, I mean, overall, it's not bad.
Right.
It just needs some tweaks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like in the past day or so since the first time we tried to record this, I've actually been thinking, and I don't think it's as bad as I originally thought yesterday when we were talking, because I was doing some thinking and I was looking into more how the daily system was before, because I couldn't remember some details. And the way it is now, it's split up between PvE, PvP, and World v World achievements, and there's 4 for each. And so that's a total of 12 possible achievements to do. Before, there were also 12 possible achievements to do. 2 of them were PvP specific, 2 of them were World v World specific, and 4 of them were the kind of daily kills, daily dodger, daily reviver, general kind of thing. But according to some World v World and PvP players, those achievements, some of them anyway, were much more favorable or easy to get for PvE players. So I guess maybe it seems like they're trying to shift the balance to be more balanced between PvE and PvP in World v World. Maybe that's what they're going for. And I guess also when you look at, like, for example, the PvP rewards, players who do PvP all the time might not necessarily be able to get all of them every day, because a lot of them are class specific. So like a PvP achievement will be like win a match as a Mesmer, and if you don't have a Mesmer, you just can't do that. So I think it seems like there's achievements for each of the sets that you just might be kind of screwed and not able to do just based on your gameplay style. But the other thing I was thinking about was like, yeah, we're kind of grumpy that it's so specific and there's this high-level content that's put into these achievements that supposedly go out to everybody. But when you think about it, even if you don't get all 3 achievements, it's not that bad, because before, you had to get 5 daily achievements, and then you'd get the XP or whatever, and the like Mystic Coin and Luck and Liquid Karma. But now, every time you complete one of those achievements, you get a chest. So even if you don't get all 3 to get the like meta achievement, you're still getting rewards. So that kind of balances it out.
Maybe.
We'll see. But yeah, I'd like to see a bit more variety besides just gather stuff, look at vistas, do events, etc. I think that's enough about dailies. We've talked a lot about dailies. How about login rewards? That's a new thing that came out. Yeah. Basically, you just log in, you get a chest, and it's got stuff in it. Thoughts?
Free stuff is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we kind of said it yesterday. It's a neutral thing, really, because, I mean, we're only 4 days into it now, so it's not, the rewards aren't crazy awesome yet or anything.
Right, yeah, as I said, I'm kind of waiting for that final chest to unlock to see what's in the big chest. And then so I'm kind of reserving my judgment until then.
Yeah. I agree with that. Alright, and then finally, like I said, Winter's Day launched, and, it's pretty cool if you're into the, cosmetic armor, or not armor, but, the cosmetic, what's the word? Weapons, yes. The things that you fight with. Cosmetic weapon skins. There's, like, different toy skins and stuff like that. There's a snowball event where you, it's basically capture the flag, but with snowball fighting in between. It's pretty fun. All that's in Divinity's Reach. There's also a jumping puzzle. It's pretty hard. I haven't gotten it yet. But it seems, pretty good so far from what I've tried. But speaking of Winter's Day and cosmetics, what is on sale this week, Jack, in the gem store?
They have Arctic Explorer outfits. They are very furry. So if you're into fur on your outfits,
I've seen lots of people dyed them to look like Santa outfits.
I have seen that too. Last night I saw a bunch.
Imagine that would work well with the Norns.
Oh yeah. I
also
saw a picture online of 2 Asura dressed up like the 2 ice climbers from that Nintendo game. I don't remember their names, but like the blue one. Yeah, the ice climbers. They have, like, each one has, like, a name, but, yeah, the ice climbers. Someone will know what I'm talking about. Continue.
Also, Winter's Day weapon sets, which are pretty sweet, because if you shake your camera around, there's little snow globes inside of them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a pretty sweet little thing. Also in the gem store, the gifts mail delivery, you can have a giant present explode at your feet when you get your mail now, if you wish.
If that's your thing.
If that is your thing. Also, the Royal Pass for 2 weeks. It's the ultimate convenience to all of the festivities. Basically, what this will do is it'll pop you right into where you need to be, and all the crafting stations and mystic forges, and everything will be right at your disposal just with a swift click of your mouse. And that's pretty much is it. I did notice the Glint's die is still in the gem store. That was a limited time thing, but it is still in there. Or it was as of last night. I didn't check today to see.
I haven't checked today either, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything else new, though, other than the 3 things that we talked about. The GIF, the Arctic Explorer outfit, and the Winter's Day weapon sets.
Yep, it seems like the gem store this week is just Winter's Day, Winter's Day, Winter's Day, Winter's Day, and more Winter's Day. But outside of the game right now, also on sale, are some pretty sweet-looking Guild Wars 2 statues. And Drac, you wrote an article about these.
Yes, I did. There is a company called Top Pop. Basically all they make is some pretty sweet statues and collectible figures for video games, animes, movies, and TV shows. They have a line of Guild Wars 2 statues that are available, and I put pictures of them in the article, and I just changed the Ritlock statue.
I noticed that.
Makes
my comment at the bottom of the article sound stupid, but thanks.
Yes, that's no problem. The Ritlock statue comes with either a helmet, or you can just put his regular head on him, or you could have him in a helmet. And the main picture that I had linked originally was the one in the helmet, and it didn't make a lot of sense because you really couldn't tell it was Ritlock. But once you take the helmet off, you could definitely tell it is Ritlock. He stands 11 inches high, and like I said, he has a regular head, then he has a head with a helmet. And he also has a pointing right hand, or a closed fist with the left hand, or you can have the right hand with his legendary sword. So that is his. That one is $89.99 on sale right now. Also, the next one is pretty freaking sweet. It is called the Shatterer Dragon Statue. This one stands 8 inches tall. It's just a pretty sweet looking dragon getting ready to destroy a castle.
Everything.
It looks like, yeah, pretty much everything. The Guild Wars 2 logo is on the platform that it's standing on. This one was $99.99, but it is currently sold out right now and unavailable.
Oh no.
So I don't know if that one will be available again before the sale is over, which they don't really say when it ends. I'm guessing probably before Christmas. And the third one is the best one, and of course, for obvious reasons, is the Zoja with Golem statue. This one has everybody's favorite, Zoja, who of course is voiced by Felicia Day. So you can have Felicia Day sitting on your desk. Who wouldn't want that?
Everybody's favorite if you're Dracula.
Come on, everybody loves Felicia Day. The nice thing about this one is Zoja is actually a 16 gig flash drive, and her Golem Pal is a USB hub, so you can have a 5.5 inch tall Zoja sitting on your desk, storing all of your cool Felicia Day pictures if you're me.
Oh, that's weird.
That one was $89.99 as well, but it is now sold out as well.
Are you disappointed?
So, I'm hoping somebody got it for me. Anybody?
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody? Anybody? So
Not
there you
me.
go.
I'm not feeling this anymore.
That's what is going with the statues. So, like I said, they don't say when the sale ends. My guess is probably at Christmas. They'll go back to the regular price, and regular price, I'm not sure on the Dragon. I know the Ritlock regular price is $149. The Zoja is like $129.
Okay.
So they're kind of expensive, but they're really well done, and they're pretty sweet little statues if you're into collectibles.
Cool. Thanks for letting us know about that, Drac. Also on the site this week, Tapco wrote up another really great Guild Wars guide introduction kind of post thing. This one is the introduction to gear in Guild Wars, and like his previous post, this post outlines all the ways that Guild Wars kind of goes way outside of the norm for MMOs, and this one is obviously specifically about how different the armor system is. And Drac, since you played Guild Wars, the original game, can you talk about this a little bit?
He did an amazing job at this. The thing about armor in Guild Wars is it's all about the math.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of confusing and kind of hard to figure out, but he laid this out. He laid out the stats. He laid out how it adds up the stats and how it takes the damage off your armor stats. So good job, Tapco, on this write-up. It is really, really great, and I'm glad that he did point out at the end the tip he gave. The major complaint I had with Guild Wars was once you were ready to get some of your armor, you couldn't preview what it looked like.
That's a deal breaker.
Yeah, it was like just a blind buy, and if you didn't like the look of it, too bad. You could dye it another color, but that's about all you could do. You couldn't really do much to it. So you had to go on the wiki, or there was a couple other sites that had laid out all of the armors. So I'm glad he did pick that tip, because that's a big change for people. I know in any other MMO I played since Guild Wars, there's always a preview option for your armor or your cosmetics, and Guild Wars doesn't have one. They had always talked about doing it, and it was always kind of put on the back burner, and then all of a sudden Guild Wars 2 came, so that was pretty much the end of that conversation.
Yeah, it's like we mentioned last time, their solution was creating a new game.
Yeah, exactly.
We fixed your problem. We just made you a whole new game.
Yeah.
Have fun.
So, but overall, good job, Tapco. He really explained it well. It's a pretty good read if you're curious on how it works, and if you've never played Guild Wars, or maybe you're thinking about playing Guild Wars.
Yeah, definitely a very good introduction post to that very different system. All right, so also this week, the great MMO Showdown continues, and actually of us recording right now, we aren't recording live, so nobody's actually listening to this except us, but we are only a few hours away from this round of the great MMO Showdown closing, and currently it looks like Guild Wars 2 is going to lose to the Secret World. Kind of disappointing, but such is life.
Well, maybe not. There's still as of this recording, there's 2 hours left, and it's 49.1 to 50.9. So
yeah,
it's pretty close still. Guild Wars 2 might pull it out.
Yeah, well, I think someone at the company would have to put the word out.
Yeah, it'd have to be a whole thing. I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. I guess we'll see next week. Or I guess, whatever. Next time we have an episode. Because holidays. Anyway. That will continue on after this round ends, because, of course, this is only the quarterfinals, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Right. So somebody will be moving on and fighting somebody else. And that will be a contest. So, yeah, we got Winner's Day this week. And a few weeks ago, somebody on YouTube, Levi, or Levy, I'm not sure, one of those. I'm always bad at figuring out how people pronounce their names, but they put up a Winner's Day 2014 fan trailer. And Athelros, I know you watched this and you liked it. What did you think of it?
Yeah, it's pretty good quality. I think I mentioned last time too, the font is kind of questionable. just my view on it, but the music itself is good. They have sort of surprise transition partway through where they kind of lead you think that it's going to go one way and then it goes the other. But yeah, it also gives some kind of a hint, I guess, towards what happened with the previous area that hosted the Winter's Day Festival, which obviously me being new, I didn't really know anything about. So that was kind of interesting for me.
Yeah, I think that was pretty cool. It gives reason why we're having Winter's Day in Divinity's Reach this year, because some things happened that made having it at Lion's Arch not exactly favorable, and if you watch this video, you too will understand why. This week, our weekly community outfit comes from Zero Kitsune. Again, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. Hopefully I am. They sent us an Asura Necromancer outfit, or as they said, here is a couple pics of my abomination. I mean, my Asura Necromancer. Currently, Necro is my favorite character to play. She doesn't normally have Necro pets because I run as her for Wells. Yay, no Necro pets. But me and Athelros hating Necromancers aside...
Yeah, I was going to say, let's clarify this us part here.
Me and Athelros hating Necromancers aside, this is actually a really good outfit, because the outfit itself is actually kind of plain. It uses the Asura cultural armor. It's kind of grays and blacks with little bits of bright green here and there. However, the real great thing about this outfit are the weapon skins. In the main hand, they are using Zaitan's Reach, which is, I think it's a one-handed sword. And it's a sword, but then it's got this big undead arm impaled on it.
It's
awesome. It's pretty cool looking, I have to say. And then in the offhand, the focus skin is called Adam, and Adam is a skull. And so it's this little Asura Necromancer running around with a zombie arm and a skull. And it's very, very necromancer-y.
Gotta be honest though, I don't think I'd be able to focus if I was holding a skull in one hand and a severed arm in the other.
If you were a necromancer, you probably could.
That'll never happen with it. So
Yeah, that'll never happen, but I mean,
we'll never know.
we'll never know. So yeah, I know last episode I was kind of berating everybody for not sending me any outfits. I now have quite a bit of a backlog of outfits, so thank you everybody for sending those in. But of course, I'd always love more because I love looking at outfit pictures, and I'd love to post them up on the site and talk about them on the podcast. So if you think your character looks particularly spiffy, you should send us some screenshots to contact@guildwarsplayers.com with the subject line weekly outfit, and we'll show everybody how cool your character looks. So, Thalros, what did you do in game this week?
This week I leveled my I say I leveled my Sylvari Mesmer, but to be truthful, I deleted my Sylvari Mesmer and then rolled another Sylvari Mesmer and then leveled him. For background's sake, the previous character I had, at one point very early on in the story, there was a choice you have to make, and I kind of regretted it a lot.
Yeah, it was eating you up.
Yeah. So it came to a point where I just couldn't play that character anymore. So I ended up deleting and re-rolling and doing the other choice, which I am quite happy with how it was resolved for the most part. Yeah. So he is at level 22.
And I'd like to point out that this is the third time you've made a Sylvari Mesmer.
Yes, this is my third.
This was not the first time you deleted your Sylvari Mesmer and re-rolled it.
It's the third edition of him, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is now level 22. In the zone name I can't remember. He's doing the second chapter of the personal story, and yeah, he's going pretty well. Yeah, I've also done a few jumping puzzles on him, which have been challenging and frustrating in equal measure.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Earlier on, you were having some issues with jumping puzzles. I showed you the Morgan Spiral one in Caledon Forest, and you were just like super frustrated, but obviously you're doing them now on your own, so
I've done that
you can't
one
hate them too much.
At least I've done that one in particular at least half a dozen times now. I still fall sometimes, but
oh yeah, everybody does.
That one is just particularly annoying because of the camera angles with the plants above you. It sort of messes with
and the moving rocks.
Yeah, but yeah, now it's all right. Aside from him, I leveled my Norn Ranger that I created because pets, pretty much. So she's just level 5 at the moment. I haven't played it that much, but she's rolling, I guess. My Guardian, who is also a Norn, I leveled him to 20, and he is in the Snowden Drifts right now. Kind of questing around in that region a bit. Also encountered the Quaggan, the somewhat less friendly ones. And they're kind of creepy, but...
Yeah, crazy Quaggans are crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
It.
Go ahead.
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, Drac, what did you get up to this week?
My Norn Ranger, which is basically my main, she is now at level 43. I did the personal story on her, and I must say, so far in my personal story, this has been my favorite part. I'm going to spoil it a little bit, so spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't done your...
I don't think saying his name is spoiling it, really.
Well, probably not, but I'm just going to throw the spoiler alert out there in case, because I don't want to get people mad at me. You have a choice in your personal story on some orders you can join, and I chose the Order of Whispers, and there is a character that is introduced into your story called Lightbringer Tybalt Lepaw.
Yeah.
And he was kind of annoying at first, and then he really grew on me, and he's a char. And
he's a big teddy bear char.
And now I really, really like him, and his lines are hilarious. I was literally laughing out loud. I don't know how many times. And in the one quest, he basically you sneak into this like pirate base, and he has this grand plan. And basically, his grand plan is to get you to do this drinking game while he's off trying to find somebody. So you end up getting like totally smashed out of your mind. And he comes back, and just some of the lines he says are just hilarious. So
Mm-hmm. And apples are delicious.
indeed they are. So I'm really liking my personal story right now.
Mm-hmm.
And also on my Ranger, I did some of the world bosses. I did the Frozen Maw, the Jungle Worm, and the Shadow Behemoth. Did a little bit of the Winter's Day stuff, not a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the jumping puzzle and I said, "Ha, yeah, right," and then left right away. I did do the toy makers thing a couple
Okay.
times, which that is really bizarre. But
Yeah,
it was kind of
some of the stuff's weird.
fun, and I got a lot of presents out of it. So,
Oh, that's good.
and I did there. If you notice on the landscape, you'll be running around, and all of a sudden there'll be like a giant present that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you open that present, a bunch of skirt pop out, and then you like kill them, and then you can get a present. So I did that a couple times just by running
Running
around.
into presents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do that in the middle of an enemy camp, though. It's not a good idea.
Actually, I did that, and I found. Well, I was doing the Mega Destroyer world boss, which is basically it's in the middle of a volcano, and so I was running up to this volcano, and just right next to the volcano is this big present in the middle of nowhere. But there was a whole bunch of other enemy mobs around. I opened it, and all the Skrit and all the other enemy mobs started fighting each other. So I was like, "Oh, okay," and I just ran in and took the present and left.
Nice.
Oh, well, I guess you're luckier than I am. Because for me, they all decided they wanted a piece of my mesmer. So that was fun.
Okay, then.
That's unfortunate.
My Asuran Elementalist, because Felicia Day, went to level 26. She did the world boss Shadow Behemoth, and basically just ran around doing hearts and stuff. Didn't really do anything major. Trying to get to level 30 so I can get more of my story. My Necro, who is my human, is just hit level 30. Did World Boss, Frozen Maw, Jungle Worm, and Shadow Behemoth. I also did a few of the Winter's Day stuff with the Necro too. I'm not really concentrating on the Winter's Day stuff that much.
Yeah.
If I might pop over there and do some things, or if I see those presents, I do them. But I'm not, like really.
Yeah, it's definitely not a focus.
Yeah,
for me either.
I'm not concentrating on it. And I actually popped into the original Guild Wars for a while as well, and I vanquished a few of the areas. And basically, why I'm doing that is, if you did not know, you can link your Guild Wars and your Guild Wars 2 account, and any titles and things you gain in Guild Wars kind of carries over into Guild Wars 2 in the form of some skins for your weapons, for your outfits. There's some minis you can get and stuff like that. And I am 8 points away from a pretty sweet looking bow skin.
Nice.
So I need to do a bunch of stuff in Guild Wars to get those other 8 points, which hopefully it won't take me too long.
Yeah.
To do that. But so I've been playing some Guild Wars and really enjoying it. It's just, I haven't played it for a while, so it's like a big change to remember how different it was from anything else. But
I bet.
and surprisingly, there was still other people playing. There's not as many as there used to be, but
Yeah, understandably.
it still seems to be pretty active though. So I was
That's
kind
kind of
of
surprising.
yeah, I was surprised about that too, and I helped a few people. I was in Lion's Arch doing some stuff, and I seen in chat there was some people that had some questions, so I helped them, and I kind of took them out to an area and showed them something. So that was kind of cool. That's what I used to do when I played. I used to help people a lot, so that was kind of awesome
cool.
that I could do that again. And they said they had just bought it like a week ago, and they were like totally confused about everything. So of course I told them about the podcast too. So
Oh, well, there you go. Nice.
if you're listening, you're welcome. And I would also like to thank one of our listeners, Deviant Engineer.
Devious.
Devious Engineer. He sent me a bow. Well, he tried to send me a bow in game, and apparently we were saying my in-game number wrong, but which that is now
Oops.
fixed. So
Rectified.
he sent the bow to Sithrith, and she sent it along to me, and it's a pretty amazing sounding bow from the looks of it. I can't use it till I'm level 50, so I've got like 4 more levels to go, but thank you so much for the bow. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool. So this week, oh yeah, I'll just say it. This week I mostly played on my Mesmer, and I actually went ahead and I bought a name change token for her because her name before was Miraja, spelled Myrrajah. I actually had to think for a second about how it was spelled.
Which I thought
and
that was an amazing name, just for the...
yeah, apparently after I changed it, I found out that everybody liked it. So, oops, but whatever, it's my name. A problem with that name, like, it makes sense, like, as far as Mesmers go, but it doesn't fit any naming conventions I use for my characters ever, anywhere. And it also doesn't really make any sense Sylvari naming convention-wise. And it just didn't feel like it fit. It just didn't feel right. Like, I had picked the name when I made the Mesmer, and I didn't actually expect to play it. I was just gonna make it to be like, oh, like, Mesmer, that's a weird class. Let's see what that's like. Fast forward to now, and it's kind of accidentally my main class now. So that didn't work as planned. So I renamed her to Kythnae, which is Cythnae. And then because I have a cosmetics addiction, I also used another total makeover kit on her. And she's now pale blue and pale green, which is quite a departure from the dark purple that she was before. But I'm really, really pleased with how she looks now. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think it was worth it. Besides that, I've been working on the Living World Season 2 stuff, and I've done episodes 3, 4, and 5. I'm not super pleased with it. Like, the story itself is really interesting, but the gameplay of it, like, I could really do without. Because some of the fights are insanely hard. There's a fight where we had to fight against all these ghosts and stuff in Dragons and Reach Part 2, and it took me over an hour to complete it. It was nuts. I was so angry by the time I was done, because I just wanted to be done with the stupid thing. Not great. I don't know if these things are supposed to be done as a group. There's no indication that it is. I don't know. Maybe I need to learn to play. I don't know. But it's just super frustrating. But I'm going to keep doing the stupid things because I like the story. Besides that, I also made a new Sylvari Ranger, also because pets. And I did some Winter's Day stuff, like I said. Nathrian on Twitter introduced me to the World Boss Timers site at guildwarstemple.com. I'll put a link in the show notes, and oh my gosh, what a world changer. Basically, it shows the countdown timers for all of the world bosses. It shows you what waypoint you need to go to get to them, and it's awesome. So I've been running the whole world boss train thing at least every other day. And I've gotten so much gold from it, which is great, because, again, I have a cosmetics addiction, and so I need to buy all of the dyes, obviously. So that's been kind of filling that need. And one thing I forgot to mention, actually, so it's kind of good that we have to re-record this, but something I forgot to mention, I picked up all of the Guild Wars books. If you didn't know, the story writers for ArenaNet have actually written novels to go along with the games, and this first one is called Ghosts of Ascalon. I'm a little over halfway through it. It's pretty cool. The humans in the group are super annoying and I hate them, but everybody else is really cool.
That's the best book
they're
out of
so melodramatic.
And that's the best book out of the 3, I think, too, for the record, in my opinion. But
Okay.
yeah, and to kind of explain those books just a little bit, if I can, what they were for is they help bridge the gap between Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2.
Oh, okay.
So if you played Guild Wars and then you read those books and then you started playing Guild Wars 2, everything makes a lot of sense because those books bridge the gap in between the two games.
Okay, yeah, I was reading, and I know that Ghosts of Ascalon came out before Guild Wars 2 released. So, like, I knew that much. But yeah, it's definitely enjoyable so far. I've learned a lot more about the lore, and it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. Except for the humans, they're stupid. But whatever. So yeah, I think that's about it. Anybody else have anything else they want to add about what they did this week?
Nope.
Cool. All right. So if you would like to join us here at Guild Wars Players, since we are a brand new site, we're still looking to build our ranks. We would love to have more content creators that are passionate about the Guild Wars game series, whether you write articles or fan fiction, or you make video guides, or you create fan art, whether you're new to the game or you're a longtime veteran, any of those things. We'd love to have your help contributing to the Guild Wars Players community. So send in your sample content to contact@guildwarsplayers.com. Please include the name you wish to go by on the site, your content types, and anything else that you think is important to let us know. So we look forward to hearing from you. This week, unfortunately, we did not receive any Patreon donation mentions, but we would love your support. To help support the Guild Wars Players, simply go to the donation page on our site where you can support the Players Alliance, which is the network that we are a part of, on Patreon. There you will find rewards including a mention, or you can even be a guest on this very show. This week we did not receive any reviews on iTunes, which isn't surprising. This is only episode 3. But we sure would love to have some reviews, whenever you're ready. Whatever. This week's featured comments from the site are both from Tapco, and they are both about Asuras. So on the Great MMO Showdown post, Tapco wrote, "Sorry, but the secret world is my game. Plus, nobody there calls my characters abominations." Because if you didn't know, Tapco's main character is a Asura necromancer. He might be a little bitter that Athelros and I have issues with Asuras and necromancers. Maybe.
An Asura necromancer is an abomination being followed by other abominations.
Well, Tapco on the post where I announced the delay for this episode also wrote, "Insult Asura, technology fails. Coincidence?" He's got a point.
There we go. Now we know who to blame.
The Asura.
That's going to make me like them more.
We didn't get any actual emails, but in-game, like Drex said, we did get a mail from Devious Engineer, and they wrote, "Thanks for the new podcast. It's nice to hear the perspective of a new player to Guild Wars 2. Keep up the good work." Thank you, Devious Engineer, for listening. And if any of you would like to contact us, you can email us at podcast@guildwarsplayers.com, and you can also follow all of us on Twitter. The Players Alliance at Players Ally, Guild Wars Players at GW Players. I am at Sithrith, and you can find me in-game at Sithrith.6741. Draculetta is at Draculetta_72 on Twitter, and in-game at Draculetta.7410. And Athelros is at Athelros on Twitter, and in-game at Athelros.3164. You can listen to all of the Players Alliance live shows. Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is the DDO Players News. Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is this show, Guild Wars Players News. And Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is the Locho Players News. You can join us for all of these live shows at guildwarsplayers.com/live. Thank you all very much for listening. We promise that this is gonna get recorded. And this is Sithrith reminding you to look before you leap.